Let's take a look at your MT9 LT5 assignment here. First thing is, before we start, don't forget your name. And then do the first 18 questions in Alex, either before you do the paper assignment or after you do the paper assignment. Now, on question 19, we want to know what you would add to each side. But before we do that, remember we have to divide both sides by 3. So that we're going to get x squared minus 8x equals 51 divided by 3 is 17. So then I'm going to go over to the side here, and I'm going to take half of negative 8, and I'll square that. Well, that's negative 4 squared, which is 16. So I'm going to add 16 to both sides. And that is choice C, isn't it? Whoops, I had the wrong one. I want my highlighter there. There we go. So choice C is question 19. Now we want to know which of these key features the graph is going to have. Well, let's finish completing the square here. So I'm going to get x minus 4 squared equals, I didn't put my 16 there, equals 17 plus 16 is 33. Take the square root of both sides. I'll get x minus 4 equals plus or minus the square root of 33. So x equals 4 plus or minus the square root of 33. Notice my vertex is at x equals 4. So my axis of symmetry is x equals 4. Okay? And the vertex is not at negative 33, and I have to plug 4 back into my equation to find that, and I can definitely see it's not going to be negative 33. The graph opens up, so that's incorrect. The minimum value would be my vertex, and it's not 33. So it's only choice F on this one. If I wanted to better explain this now, I think about it. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. I'm going to write this in standard form. So y equals 3x squared minus 24x. Got to move the 51 to the other side, so minus 51. And then to find the value of the vertex, y would be 3 times 4 squared minus 24 times 3 minus 51. Or 3 times 12 minus 24 times, try that again. 4 squared is not 12. 4 squared is 16. 24 times 3 is 72 minus 51. So that's 48 minus 72 minus 51. Now I can't do that in my head, so I think I'll use my calculator. I'll take 48. Let me make a new graph here. So 48, 8 minus 72 minus 51. That gives us negative 75. So my vertex would be at negative 4 and negative 75. And the minimum value would be negative 75. Now if we take a look at number 21, which one of these would be the least likely step in solving the equation by completing the square? Well, I would subtract 10 from both sides. So if I subtract 10 from both sides, let's write that down. We'd have x squared plus 10x equals 56. And then would I subtract 25 from both sides? I think there would be their least likely. We would add 25 to both sides, won't we? Add 10 divided by 2. I think my parentheses showed up squared. That's right. And we're going to factor x squared plus 10x plus 25. So the only one we won't do is question 12. And on number 22, we want to look at which one of these has no real solution. So we want to look at b squared minus 4ac. No, we don't. We're doing, sorry, I got ahead of myself. I want to know which one, when I complete the square, will I get a negative. So let's do letter Q. X squared minus 2x. Half of 2 squared is 1, so I'd add 1 to both sides. 2 plus 1 is 3. I could take the square root of 3, so it's not Q. So I'm going to throw out Q. Let's do the next one. If I take half of negative 2, well, I'm going to get a positive, so there'll be that one. Okay, how about letter S? If I take half of 3, that's 1.5. And I'm going to add 2.25 to both sides, because 1.5 squared is 2.25. And if I do that, notice I'd end up with a positive 1 tie. It'd be positive 1/4. So I can do that one. So the only one it can't be is letter T. Because if I add 2.25 to negative 3, I end up with a negative. So the only choice we have is T. Okay, on number 23, what value should you add to x squared minus 20x to complete the square? Well, if I take half of negative 20 and I square that. Well, half of negative 20 is negative 10. I square that, that would be 100. So I would end up adding 100 to complete the square. Then on question 24, it says true or false. To complete the square for x squared plus bx, add b over 2 to both sides. That's false. You should add b over 2 squared to both sides. Okay, number 25 got kind of pushed on here. And we want to know which one of these doesn't belong. Well, notice if I take, on the first one, if I take half of negative 1 and I square that, I'd get negative 1/2 squared, which is 1/4. That's a perfect square. So is the second one. If I take half of 2/3 squared, I'll get 1/3 squared, which is 1/9. That's a perfect square. And unfortunately, I covered up the last one here, but on this part, it should be my last answer here, because that is not a perfect square. Okay, we want to write the equation in vertex form for the parabola. Well, I'm going to find my vertexes. I want to write in vertex form. Notice it's over 1 and up 2. So my vertex is 1, 2. So when I write that as y equals a times x minus h, the quantity squared, plus k, I can write it as y equals a times x minus 1 squared plus 2. Now notice, when I go over 1 for my vertex, I go down 1. So my a value is negative 1. So I'm going to say y equals negative x minus 1 squared plus 2. And that's the whole assignment, isn't it?